Hi everybody, Chris here from Truly Holistic. In this video, we're going to talk about global catastrophes, big events that are happening in the world. You know, the word world is something we can question, right? You know, the earth, especially when all of us as individuals, what we perceive using our own pair of eyes, are something that's very individual and unique to us. This is why we all have a different perspective in regards to what's happening. So, you know, can we say there is a world, there is our earth? Or are we really saying it's all our own world and our own earth that we are then experiencing through our own pair of eyes? It's a very important, very valid question. And what I find through my work is this aspect that we are forging our own realities. We are creators of realities, not the human arc or story or human perspective, we can say. That we are here observing and participating on one plane together. Okay. Because there is two perspectives that have here. Right? One is the human, which I've often said in other videos is our conditioned version of self. It's a version of self that strips our authenticity away, which means it's removing more of ourself, what we authentically are, as we embrace this identity that was given to us, which we call the human. So there's a human perspective, and there's a more authentic perspective that we see as what we authentically are. That soul, that consciousness that is just utilizing this form, which we call the human body, to extend our will through in regards to expanding our creation. So let's get back into this, right? These catastrophes that we're seeing. Because why I wanted to do this video, I had a client this morning that comes from Greece, and she was talking about a recent terrible train collision that happened in Greece, and a recent hurricane that was also in Greece, and that, you know, amount of people that lost their lives, a lot of young people, students, in regards to this triple train collision, and the hurricanes, the earthquakes that we see in regards to the border of Turkey of recent times, in regards to, again, where a lot of casualties. And we're seeing all these things, you know, weather that causes devastation, destruction. And I know there's a lot of theory out there about, okay, there are systems in place that control weather patterns and those sorts of things. Which I'm going to tell you is all a human perspective. Okay, and when I mention a human perspective, we are talking about a conditioned perspective, which is not a truthful or authentic perspective of what is happening. Okay. It's a conditioned view. It always will be. Okay. So, again, what defines a human perspective from an authentic one is really understanding reality and also understanding what you are authentically. And what's your role in regards to reality. This is the be-all and end-all of it. This is why I do so much work on an understanding of reality. Why I now have a session option available for you to bring those questions to help you understand what's going on in your world, your reality, how you can change that by understanding your role within the reality that's provided. Very important. So these global catastrophes, right? And we, a lot of the times, get informed about them, right? We can be in that location and be directly affected by them. But for a majority of people, it's going to be people that hear it from other people that were affected by it because they were in that localized area. Or secondly, you were informed about it through an informant, whether that's news on the TV, going online on social media, or just news media by going online on the internet. Okay, so we get informed about it, okay, from someone perceiving in their world, but it's not part of your world. But because your attention's gone to it, it now becomes part of your world. Because where attention goes, energy flows. Right? So your energy is now invested in it. So therefore it becomes real or part of your reality. This is how reality works. Okay. So what is causing all of this then? Okay, and the word that comes through is this word incursion. Okay, and what that means, an incursion, is that it's very much connected in the way that we live, the way that we are forging our path, which we can call journey, future, or a timeline. And 2023, this video is coming out in March 2023. A big emphasis for me is time and understanding time, because there's a lot of questions about time, right? About time travel and so on. What is time? Quantum physics, they talk about space-time a lot, right? So I don't want to go too far off of that, but timelines are going to come into play here with the word incursion. And I've got a recent video, if you look it on my YouTube, about timelines. Okay. Now, when we are forging a path, right, in every moment, because life's about moments, not about a few moments you can count on one hand or two hands. At the end of your life, you can say, that was worthwhile, my life. It's about every moment. Because in every moment, we are making choices and decisions that is creating reality. It's forging a path. It's forging a timeline. Okay. And when we allow our heart, which is the facilitation of everything, we are a quantum pathway, because the heart is a space bridge. It is a wormhole. Okay, it's a portal to everything that you are as an infinite consciousness. When we have that open and allow you as an infinite consciousness, you as a soul, to guide those choices and decisions in every moment, right? Because we only open our heart up when we are self-aware and present in the moment, which means we make better choices and decisions that are going to forge a path, a journey, a future, a timeline that will be in the highest good and the highest alignment for us. And this is essentially the word ascension. Okay. But when these things happening outside of us, as I'm mentioning here, which directs our attention elsewhere, we lose that presence of self-awareness, and hence we lose that ability to keep the heart open, and it closes up, which means you are being now directed and guided through another pathway where your attention, your awareness goes up here, which means it's not heart feel anymore, it's mind thought that is guiding those choices, those decisions that you're making with a lack of self-awareness. That is still forging a path, a journey, because you're always creating. Doesn't matter whether you're up there or here, you're still creating. And when we're creating from here and we're forging that path, right, which is in every moment, you're forging your energy into either a probability or a possibility to make it real, for it to be an outcome that you're trying to provide and create. And we call those branch timelines, where they veer you off track from that sacred timeline, that path that is in the highest good for you. All of a sudden, you're forging numerous timelines or paths that are not in the highest good for you anymore. And your energy is going into creating that. The more branch timelines you create, then starts to muddle with other people's branch timelines, because we're all leading our own reality, leading our own path. They get mixed up and they clash with each other, and we call these incursions. Okay. What these incursions create or form is a reality that is built on chaos and conflict. Okay. Now, what I'm going to bring in here in a particular example is the war in the Ukraine, in regards to Ukraine and Russia. But all wars, can be brought into this example, is the fact that wars can only happen if there's a state of conflict being provided. At the moment, the human perspective is we point fingers at particular leaders or particular peoples, for example, Putin, and that's the way we do it, with a lack of understanding of reality, that everything is provided, or the precursor of everything that's provided, and how someone behaves or functions is the state that's being provided. We always say the body is only as good as the state that's provided. It's the precursor, right? And we find that what gets projected out is merely a projection of what's happening within. And what we're seeing with a majority of humans, right, embodying an identity that was never theirs to hold or embody, it was given to you, right? The human identity. That's not what you are. You're a soul, you're a consciousness, not a human. The human is the space holder, right, for that intelligence to come in and extend its will through. But if you're closing that pathway, you're not enabling that through, right? So something else comes in that is not you, right? That those characteristics of chaos, of conflict, is characteristics of the intelligence that comes through the mind, which is not you. This is why, in a state of peace, harmony, and love, we feel amazing. We feel invincible. We feel amazing. Why? Because we sustain ourselves. That is us. That's the representation of who we truly are being forged forward. Okay. Suffering, fear is not. Okay. So why there are wars being formed is because there are thousands, millions, billions of individual reality creators that are conflicted within, and then that gets projected out, right? Which then enables a state for wars to happen, for devastation to happen, for more suffering to happen. And that includes what we call natural disasters. Okay. What I mean by why I go about natural disasters, because often we disconnect ourselves from the earth, that the earth is something that is not connected to us. Yes, it is connected to us. The earth is an expression of your own heart. And this comes back to what we talked at the start of the video. That we perceive our reality through our own unique eyes. Okay, we've all got a pair of eyes each. Okay, and it's not just seeing something that is just there. That's not how reality works. As quantum physicists talk about this readily, is they believe that for reality to be here, it requires an observer. Why? Because that observer is creating that reality. Without them there is no reality. Okay? So that questions this aspect that Earth is not this one thing that we're all here on, this rock, this planet. Okay, that's a human perspective. From a consciousness perspective, is that Earth is an expression of our own heart. Right? This is why the word earth has all the same letters as the word heart. The H is at the beginning of the word heart because it begins with the heart, and it ends with the earth because the H is at the end of that word earth. Okay, so how do we resolve all of this then? Okay, because if we pinpoint our leaders being the problem for all of this, for example, Putin, in regards to the conflict in regards to Ukraine and Russia, we are playing a game, and it's called the game of duality, where we go about and we respond and react to that way in exactly the same state that enabled that war to happen in a very indecisive, conflicted, chaotic way. So we go about trying to resolve something with the same type of thinking that enabled it to happen. This is very much in connection to Albert Einstein's quote about insanity, right? Okay. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. Okay. Why there's chaos there is because we are embracing an identity that was never ours to embrace or embody. We are not the human. We are a soul or a consciousness that's facilitated through a space bridge that is our own, which you know as the heart. Okay, but humans are conditioned to oversee things, right? A duality eyes, which is seeing less than 0.003% of what is, right? Which doesn't give us the greater insight into what is actually happening, right? Which creates that conflicted viewpoint. And to overthink, right? Again, what's the extension of the mind? The intelligence through the mind is thought. Okay. So what do we do about that? We need to open our heart, right? Which is facilitating more of us as our unique, authentic identity as an infinite consciousness, which part of that is you as the soul. Okay? Because what we're seeing at the moment is, as I say, millions, billions of creative forces in their own right, humans, that are conflicted and chaotic within them. Why they're chaotic and conflicted? Because they're not embracing what they authentically are. They may not know it at the time. But that's what's going on. And then that gets projected out into the experience of reality that you then experience. Okay? Now, the key to everything is an open heart. Okay? Facilitating what we call love, what you know as love, not conditional love. Because again, we can perceive or have a perspective of love as the human, but it's not an authentic one, it's a conditioned one. Okay. Unconditional love, or what you perceive as unconditional love, is a heart-to-heart connection through feel. It's not thought. Okay? As I say, humans are conditioned to overthink, to use thought more than feel. Thought doesn't provide authentic, true love. Only the heart does, through feel. Because as they say, love is a feeling. Okay? So anyway, I thought I'd do this video because this is my take, okay, from somebody that has researched reality in a very profound way of what's happening in the world, what's happening to humanity, because humanity is a collective, but it's not a collective consciousness, because the more our attention and intention goes that way, away from self, in that place of presence, in the moment of self-awareness, we lose our consciousness. So it's not a collective consciousness, but it's a collective bound between minds, which we can call a hive mind. Okay, which then enhances our embodiment of the human and limits our capacity to see an authentic perspective. And that's known as the game of duality. Till next time. Catch you later.